right. Hello. Welcome to episode 3 of Working Title Podcast. My name is Seamus McMahon, and I am joined here today by Josh Powers.
Hello.
How you doing today?
Doing good, man.
Awesome. So today we're going to talk about the recently released album from the, just huge acclaim, cult following, whatever you want to say, band Tool, which we're both really big fans of. So the new album's called Fear Inoculum. It released, August 30th, I think?
Yes.
So we've had some time to listen to it. I think it was August 30th.
Yeah.
And we both listened to it. I've listened to it once all the way through, which is probably not the best way to say, oh, let's review it. But
yeah,
it's good. And then also we're going to talk about some other comeback albums from other large bands or that have been either received very well or received very poorly. Maybe there might be a little bit of a surprise.
Oh.
Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, so let's get into talking about Fear Inoculum, because it's definitely a big album.
Oh,
an
hell yeah.
hour and a half long, or an hour 36.
Fucking dense.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yes.
There's a lot to dissect when it comes down to
it's going to take me years before
minutes.
I fully have it.
Oh yeah,
and grasp it.
It's fucking crazy. But let's go over it. So it's got how many tracks? It's like 12 or something like that. 10. It's got 10 tracks, and there's 5 or 6 maybe that are actually like full length tracks, about 10 minutes, 12 minutes.
10 to 15 minutes.
Yeah, which is ridiculous.
That's insane.
Yeah. But what were some of your like initial thoughts before it came out? And because you listened to the single that they released.
I heard that first.
Right.
And then subsequently heard the other songs, not even like you did all the way through. I kind of like broke it up and listened to one, and I would go back and listen to a few on a different day. So it's kind of been a little. I thought for years that I would be so like rabid about consuming it right away, but for some reason I just didn't have that feeling. I don't know why.
Right.
But I mean, there's so much to love, and there's just lots of breakdown. What did you think of? Let's start with this. What was your favorite track?
So I listened to the first 4 or 5 songs a couple times because I didn't listen to it all the way through. I guess it was all the way through because I would listen to it in my car when I was going to school and on the way back.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like I stopped and then started over. It was just constantly going.
Yeah.
But I think one of my favorites is Invincible.
Yeah.
I think it was Invincible. Because right in the middle, there's this guitar riff that starts going, and it's like, it sounds really simple, but it's so heavy for that song. It's just perfect.
Yeah.
It was so cool.
I think I know which one you're talking about. I actually have that in my notes. Yeah, that was...
Yeah, it's like, it's at the 8-minute mark or something like that. The song completely changes, and it's just incredible. It changes to this like alt metal, like super crazy heavy song. It's amazing.
Yeah. So that was one of your favorite moments. Mm-hmm. What did you think of the single, Fear Inoculum?
I think that was probably their best choice for a single.
Yeah,
I think if they put out any of the longer ones, because I think Fear Inoculum is like 10 and a half minutes or something like that, and it's definitely the shorter one, and it's probably the most concise, I'd say, because it gives you the idea and it doesn't really stray too far from that idea, and it's
not as abstract as some of the other ones were.
Exactly. So what was your favorite out of all of them?
Oh my god, dude. Let's see, my favorites. See, I have it written down here. Sorry, I should have this on deck.
Oh, you're fine. This is all just off the cuff.
Yeah.
It's not like we really planned for any of this, because it's just kind of fun.
We're not professionals.
Yeah, not yet.
Or anything like that.
We're getting close. This is our 3rd episode. If we do one more, we're professional.
I know,
or something like that.
Man. Joe Rogan's done what, like 2,000 almost?
I think so. What was he on? He was 139 recently, I think. Or not 139, 1,339.
It's insane.
It's ridiculous. That's how many years? That's 4 years or something like that, almost.
I think he does like 3 a day sometimes.
Really?
Yeah, just pump out like one after the other, and
I didn't
so that way when he goes
that.
on tour, or when he does the UFC, he's got shit on deck that he can just release.
That makes sense.
But it gives the impression that he's just constantly releasing shit.
Right? Doesn't he stream it too? Isn't that like
so,
a whole thing?
I think some of the stuff he streams.
Yeah. Yeah, just take your time.
Let's do one more second here. I liked Culling Voices.
Culling Voices.
Yeah, and the reason that I like that one so much is I really like when Tool does songs in the key of B.
Oh, okay.
They don't have many.
Right.
Mainly, I think it was off Lateralis, the 10th and 11th track were both in the key of B, and I always felt like there was something incredibly angelic and ethereal when they are in that key.
Right.
And the way Maynard's voice blends into that one is something fucking spectacular.
Oh, definitely.
So yeah, I heard that one, and I was really impressed with that one all the way through.
Yeah.
Yeah, great, and also on that one, great lyrics and a deep meaning that I feel I'm going to continue to unfurl as the months and years pass by. I feel like it's almost like, does it a disservice to review the album so early after we've only, it's not like any other band. Tool is just in a league of their own when it comes to like absorbing their art. It's not just it's not like listening to Post Malone or like which is also a great artist. I do like Post Malone. I heard his new shit today, which was actually very good.
That punk rock, air quotes, punk rock song. I think that's what I was at work, and my manager was like, "Oh, there's a thing that's saying Post Malone's bringing back punk rock," and we listened to the song, and it was like, "That's not not punk rock at all. That's just his like style of
that's just
space
what he does.
pop rap stuff.
Yeah,
just good. It sounded okay."
But yeah, I mean, he did one with Ozzy, which is really fucking good. I heard that today. I was expecting not to like it. I'm like, how is it going to be with Post Malone, Ozzy, and Travis Scott?
Oh, really?
But there's a fucking awesome guitar solo in it. It's supposed to be about Tool, but I'm diverting.
Oh, that's okay.
But yeah, I actually was really impressed with, I guess, like the grander point that I was going to make is, I heard the Post Malone shit. I heard a couple songs, and I was like, instantly, right away, I got everything at face value. There's not that much depth there. It's, you get it, you like it, and you can move on to the next thing. But with Tool, it's like, it's so nuanced and so layered, it just takes months and years to really...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. Especially after 13 years of being on hiatus.
Yeah.
Well, not hiatus. They broke up and have done tours, but they all have their own things going on, which I think is probably the most interesting part of them coming back to do another album. Yeah. Because they have... all this other stuff,
especially Maynard.
He's got Pussifier and A Perfect Circle that he's working with on and off, and some other. He works with some other band, not as like a singer, but like a producer style sort of thing. I think.
Does he really? I think so. I didn't know that.
I think he like helps out people every once in a while.
That's great.
Or something like that.
Yeah, he's also very active in Jerome, Arizona. He has the Pussifer store.
Oh, really?
Which is I've been there. It's like a barber. Yeah, it's like a fucking general store. It's a really trippy town. It's like an old mining town up in the mountains. And he has a general store there. It actually says Pussifer store.
That's
cool.
And
they have like vinyl in there. They have all the merch from A Perfect Circle and Tool and a barber shop. It's really
that's
interesting place. So he has that, really and then he has a restaurant there. He has his vineyard. He's got such a massive amount of shit going on that it's like crazy that he could even find the time to go and do another tour record. But I guess he's waiting for the guys to kind of get the music done.
Right.
I guess that's what he was saying on Joe Rogan's podcast. Was that his biggest thing was he was just waiting for them to get all the songs done and not change them before he writes lyrics. Because I deduced from that he was frustrated that they would just keep changing the fucking music.
Right. And
he's trying to write lyrics to that. I can see how that's frustrating.
Yeah, it makes sense, especially when you're like away from everybody else and you don't have that kind of control.
Yeah. There's not like the band camaraderie. It's not like 1995 when they all were essentially like on top of each other touring all the time, and I mean, even if they could afford to be apart, they were together more often. When you're that successful and that wealthy, there's not really the motivation to be around each other as much.
Right. Yeah, which is pretty cool for them to come back and do it.
Absolutely.
Which one of the things I thought about is you don't really hear a lot of Tool songs on the radio. Yeah. Mainly because they are so long.
Yeah.
you'll hear them on like satellite radio because there's no like cutoff for how long those songs can be. But looking at the song lengths on this album, because there are some that are like 2.5, 3.5, maybe 4 or 5 minutes is probably the longest or the shortest, I guess, out of all of them. And those are all basically ambient tracks. Did you notice that?
Yeah, ambient, like interlude type tracks.
Yeah, and all the main tracks are the long ones. Yeah. So it makes it impossible to play on the radio. Oh, definitely. Which I thought was interesting because they put all of their other music on to streaming. Yeah. So it's like they're giving a finger to the radio now and going, no, fuck you. You can't play our songs on the radio. We want people to stream it because we can make money better that way. Absolutely. And that's the new way. But I do want to say that when I was living out in LA and just growing up in California, like a lot of the rock stations, like everywhere I lived would actually always play Tool, but it was always the same songs. It was always like, definitely the main one was Sober and Schism. Yeah. And if they did Parabola, but they would like all of them. And then even I remember hearing Vicarious and Zombie, but both of those have like a radio cut version. Like they have like entire sections cut out to make it a little bit more concise and shorter for radio. Right. So they did, they probably still are on the radio. Yeah. Oh, yeah. There, I hear like 46 and 2 a lot. Yeah, that's another one. Vicarious. Yeah. Sometimes I've heard The Pot. Yeah. On the radio one time. It was like, holy shit, that's awesome. Yeah, it is always cut because it's so long, but it's awesome. Yeah, exactly. It's cool that. So, I mean, like, what song, I was trying to think about that too. What song off this album is potentially that song that they're like going to release as the single? Oof. Like for the radio? Yeah. Are they going to cut up? Do they even care about the fucking radio, dude? I don't think so. Especially because they reached number 1 on the number 1 top 100 Billboard or whatever it is. And the Billboard top 200. Yeah, it's like the only one that matters. Right. Really. Yeah. And they've held it for a week or something like that, a long time for a rock album. Which is definitely the first like heavy album to be up that high in a long time. Oh yeah, I think it's probably been about 13 years. Yeah, maybe. The last person to probably fucking do that, to even have like anything rock that high on that chart, is probably like Imagine Dragons or a band like that who's not even really like rock or metal, more on like the pop. Yeah, exactly. Pop side. Yeah. Yeah, dude. But it's like, it's very crazy to look at these song lengths and hear the music like once, maybe twice. I think actually, Invincible was really good. I can definitely see them like cutting that up and like taking parts out of the middle maybe and bringing it down a little bit, because there's like Tempest. Is kind of that was a really good one too. Yeah, I like that one a lot. But there's some parts where it's just kind of it's very ambient in most ways. Like they kind of play the same riff 10 to 15 times. It's like you can cut a little bit of that out to cut down the time, but I don't know. I don't think there's any reason to put any of these songs on there, because it's like they're getting millions and millions of plays on Spotify, and they're going on tour. They're playing all stadiums. Yeah, they'll never not play a stadium ever again for as long as they're a band. Yeah, there's no reason to worry about the radio at this point, like, I don't think. I mean, there's no reason to worry about anything, man. They didn't even have to fucking do this. They could just, like, do anything. Like, when you're at that level in the music industry, you could do anything you fucking want. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, dude. Yeah, which kind of leads us really well into our next topic, which is the other comeback albums that other big bands have done. And I think probably the most recent one in my memory is Soundgarden, who oh, that's right. Their last album was called King Animal, and it released in 2012. I think it was 2012. It might have been 2013. No, it was 2014, because I was here in Florida. Right? I can't remember when it was released, but was it well received? It was kind of in the middle, because everybody fucking loves Soundgarden. Yeah, at least they're one of those universes. They're like a Tool. Yeah, exactly. In that sense. Yeah, same era, same kind of style of music. Yeah. And they're the one right before they stopped releasing music in 1998 was Down on the Upside, I think it was. And so it was another like 13 to 15 years hiatus that they did, but they were still touring and playing together.
Yeah.
But Chris Cornell went off and did his own thing, and then when they came back and did King Animal, it wasn't really received all that well. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite Soundgarden albums. Yeah, it's fantastic.
That's one thing I noticed about you, Seamus. You're like definitely always like more receptive to the new stuff, which is something I admire. Because yeah, that's a good thing. That's good.
You.
Yeah. You dug it.
Yes. Yeah, it was. I definitely listened to a lot of the older stuff since I wasn't around at that time when they were recording and releasing all that music. So I got to listen to it years after, and they had done like some special editions and re-recorded stuff.
Yeah.
But like Bad Motorfinger is obviously one of the better albums of theirs.
Yeah.
And Super Unknown is really good, but I think King Animal really fits in there as like one of their top albums.
Wow.
Yeah.
I gotta fucking hear that shit now, dude.
It's really good. If you haven't listened to it and you're a Soundgarden fan, it's definitely one that you need to listen to.
I don't know what the fuck is happening to me, man. The older I get, it's like, 5 or 6 years ago, I used to be way more excited for shit when it came, especially like music when it came out. I don't know if it's like getting older, you become more jaded. You fucking.
I don't know if it's that. I think it's like a miss of information.
A what?
Like you just, there's so much going on in your life that some things just kind of go by the wayside. Even though you're a fan or something or anything like that, it's just kind of like maybe you heard about it once and then kind of forgot about it.
Maybe it also has to do with music being like way less culturally relevant than it was. Like when bands in the 90s and early 2000s were releasing all those albums, it wasn't because they wanted to be releasing all those albums like that. It's because they were locked into fucking record deals, and they had to be releasing music that much. It's a machine. You go and you make one, you go and tour, and then it's like, let's do the next one. This is commerce. This is money. We got to fucking make it happen. Which is why you have all those great bands, recording all of that great music in the 90s and early 2000s, and now it's like, now that none of them are locked into a major label deal like Soundgarden or Tool. What I think actually this was Tool's last album on the major that they were on.
Oh, really?
I think so. But
whoa, that's crazy to think a like major label would let them do like a 13-year hiatus and then be like, all right,
well, it's fucking Tool, dude.
I guess so.
The rules don't apply to that band.
If they were still on the label and they had like a 360 deal or something like that on their tour.
Yeah, when you're a legacy artist, albums don't even fucking matter.
Yeah,
like
I guess
that.
so. Yeah.
And I mean, also, albums are like, you can just go on to YouTube and listen to this entire album, in any fucking album for that matter, which is such a radical departure from the paradigm that existed back when Tool was at its most relevant.
Yeah.
You had to go out and fucking buy the CD, or you had to, even before burning and shit, you had to actually know somebody that had the CD if you or you get lucky to hear one on the radio, and then you go and spend $17 the fucking CD, and it's just like, that's how it used to be. It was kind of more special and fun in that sense.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I think maybe like YouTube and this whole digital birth has kind of like in a small way cheapened the craft. It's democratized everybody's ability to put out music and be a musician, which is good. It takes a lot of the power out of the label's hands, which I think is a good thing.
Yes.
But there's also that thing where it's like, God, there's so fucking much, and people are just, because it's so free, it's almost like, or not because it's so free, because it's free, people are like, well, fuck, dude, is it even like a special thing to go on and listen to like an album of artists you really like anymore? Is it even like...
I think it is. I think it's inadvertently special when you're a big fan of somebody, because you can still buy the CDs and you can still buy the vinyl if they press it. And supporting artists that way is really, really nice. But also listening to streaming their music is also really good for them too. Even though one stream isn't very much. Yeah, but
at least they found a way to fucking get some revenue out of that.
Yeah,
which is crazy. Okay, so I'm sorry, I kind of deviated from the topic a little bit. Let's get back on track and talk about some other comeback albums that.
So one of the bigger ones for me was Soundgarden. But then there was another one that I feel almost nobody likes.
Chinese Democracy.
How did you know? How did you know?
I don't know, bro.
Oh
I
my
read
God.
your fucking mind, dude.
Yeah, that's the next one that I looked at because I was like, you know what? I know Guns N' Roses is like, they might be releasing a new album or something like that. I heard that somewhere. It's like, damn it, they had a hiatus for quite a while. And then the band broke up and Axl was like, I still want to do this. And then they made Chinese Democracy. It's like everybody hates that album.
Everybody hates it. I mean, let's talk about why people hate it, though. I mean, there's it's a very nuanced reason why everybody hates it. It's because Axl Rose, he fucking basically gets the rights to the name, which is like, you know, the true fans of Guns N' Roses know that there's something special about the original Guns N' Roses.
Right. Yeah.
There's something special. There's a fucking symbiosis that happens when those dudes make records.
Yeah.
And Chinese Democracy was Axl Rose with a bunch of fucking really talented musicians.
Oh, really?
That's what it was. It wasn't the fucking band. It was just him and a bunch of like the top LA fucking session dudes.
I didn't know that. I thought it was like Axl Rose and maybe Duff, the bass player or anything like that.
They I think they, you know, Slash had Slash's Snake Pit, and then Duff had his own shit, and then they had Velvet Revolver with Scott Weiland.
Yeah.
I think they were all kind of doing. That was a good project.
That was a really good project.
Yeah, what a great project.
It's such a different thing from Guns N' Roses too.
Oh,
like
totally.
very similar but very different.
Totally.
From Chinese Democracy.
Yeah, you know, Chinese Democracy is in my eyes, dude. I couldn't even tell you that I've listened to the whole thing all the way through. I remember sitting on my laptop one time and just kind of scrolling through the songs, like listening to little bits and pieces of each of them, and I was like, this is just not. It's not for me. You know, maybe there's people that like this. I'm a huge Guns N' Roses fan, but it just wasn't for me.
Right. Yeah, I don't like it either. I've listened to maybe the title track and one other one, and it's like, oh man, just ear shattering.
Yeah.
It's such a strange album.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound very good.
And maybe there's something also that happens when these bands come back. It's like something special about, you know, a bunch of dudes who are like, you know, they're broke and struggling, and they fucking somehow broke through. They're fucking addicted to drugs. They have alcohol issues. They're kind of mentally fucked up. They somehow managed to get into a studio and put together some fucking transcendent piece of art.
Right.
And then then that just explodes, and they're fucking everywhere, and they're oversaturated. And then when they come back, they're not the same people. They've got money. They've got fucking families. They've got more ego. They've got more expectations. They've got different opinions that inform their art, as opposed to when they were just, you know, younger and just going off of their influences. They were more open-minded. So there's something that happens as you get older. And like I was even saying for myself, you know, your mind tightens a little bit on this shit.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So when you go back to make a record when you're fucking 40, after you've fucking done all that shit, it's gonna be different. I mean, that's just, and maybe that's another reason why it's not, those albums aren't as well received by the fans or the public at large.
Yeah,
there's
I
not
think
that like that controversy or that like excitement anymore. It's like, oh, they're making a new album.
Yeah,
cool. They're all sober now. They all like they're all like drinking fucking kombucha and water in the studio. Like fucking not even smoking cigarettes anymore. Like, where's the fucking
where's the fun in it?
Yeah, exactly.
I guess that's kind of the thing, right? It's people want that story.
Maybe that's not the whole story. Obviously, that's not a one size fits all concept to apply to all these bands. But a lot of them, especially bands that were relevant in the 80s and 90s, I feel like maybe that is the reason why their work isn't as well received now. Maybe that's one of the reasons.
It could be. I mean, that kind of brings into question Van Halen at the same time.
Yeah.
Because they released an album in 97 or maybe a little bit before that, which was the last one that the whole band was in on.
Yeah.
Was David Lee Roth on that one?
I don't think so. I think they had a couple.
Yeah, I think
they had Sammy Hagar.
Yeah, and then they had
another dude briefly. I think it was the dude from Extreme or like one of those.
Was it?
One of those hair metal bands.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, I think it was Extreme. And then they came back, the original group, and recorded that last train to something or whatever it was, and that was not well received. But they went on tour for it, and I got to see them on tour for that.
Oh, really? It was probably at a fucking nice stadium, huh?
It was at the one down in Palm Beach.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's probably always cool to see Van Halen. That was when his son fucking Beethoven was playing bass for him, right?
Actually, it was all of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
nice.
Like the original four played, and then Beethoven came out and played on like the last couple songs or something like that.
That guy got a fucking sweet gig. Talk about being born into something awesome, dude. You're fucking Dad's
That's
Eddie
just
Van
so
Halen.
fucking cool.
Oh my God, what a lucky guy.
Yeah, really.
But then again, it's like with the expectations, like how are you ever going to live up to your dad who's like the legend?
Yeah.
It's a good thing he chose
better.
bass, so at least he's not going to be,
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's not going to be competing for something different.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the same time, you've got Van Halen was like an 70s, 80s band.
Yeah, but really an innovative band too when they first came out, especially like the first album with like Running with the Devil and fucking Panama. And I just listened to that album maybe like 4 or 5 months ago, man, and there's some really good fucking songs on there.
Oh yeah, the first couple albums are amazing.
Yeah, and I think it was 1978.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, with Cole, you're so loud. Got our dog in my dog in here.
Got dogs in here, man.
Being so loud. Oh well.
It's okay.
He should be fine. It shouldn't pick him up too much.
Yeah.
But they were around. Eddie Van Halen changed the way that people play guitar.
Oh fuck yes, dude!
And all the different
and then
things.
Everybody started fucking doing that.
Yeah, all the tapping techniques that he was doing, and all the crazy bends and stuff like that.
Nobody was playing like that, dude.
Yeah, nobody. But then he started doing it, and everybody did.
That
it.
informed everything in the 80s because, I think that album was 1978. I was surprised to learn that. For some reason, in my head, I always thought that Van Halen was real big in the 80s, which they were. I didn't realize that they made that transcendent piece of work in the late 70s when everything was still, obviously we know how music was in the late 70s. Nobody was playing like that. People were there was definitely like, more guitar antics, but it wasn't like fucking sweeps and tapping, nothing like that. Dude, you brought back that real Beethoven, Bach, and fucking Mozart.
Yeah, because that's what they grew up playing. Him and his brother started playing like weird classical music that nobody really played at that time, and then they went, "Oh, well, we can do this on electric guitar and make it sound really cool."
Wild that they did that, and then everybody in the 80s, it was like you can't even listen to anything in the 80s without it being informed by that.
Yeah, and they pretty much started that 80s hairband look too.
Yeah, totally.
David Lee Roth and his whole shtick and being the karate man and all that. And Eddie Van Halen, his long hair. Oh, man.
I just watched, you ever heard of the comedian Sam Kinison? Mm-hmm. I just watched briefly last night on Netflix a special he did in, I think it was 89 or 1991, and he came out with a fucking band and they were all dressed like that, and I was just like, oh my god, dude, it's so fucking it's so 80s. It's fucking insane to me that that was considered cool. Like watching it now, you're like, wow.
Yeah, it's a little strange, but that goes into the next one, which is Kiss.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
dude.
I was looking at it and they released an album in let's see if I can remember, I think it was 99, and then they released another album in 2009, so it was a good 10-year span there. Yeah. And I didn't know that they released a new album.
Shit, dude.
So it's like Kiss, one of the biggest bands in the world, and that album just kind of
came out.
Yeah, they just kind of released it very, limp dick almost. It's just like, all right, here it is. Because I don't think anybody really cares about Kiss anymore. There's the old heads that are like, yeah, Kiss. But nobody gives a shit.
That was one of the best statements I've ever heard. This guy came up kind of lip dick. That was such a good way to describe it. That's beautiful.
I don't know. I like Kiss, but you can't do Alive again. Which I think that's what it was called. It was called Alive 2 or something like that. It's like you can't do that again. Yeah. There's no way to capture that magic. Yeah. But that's also a different era of music. Yeah. That's at kind of the right before Van Halen, that early to mid 70s, where rock music was very straightforward. Yeah. It was just power chords. This is what we're doing. We're going to sing to you about having a good time.
Most of it was just so good, though. Yeah. That's the crazy thing about those songs in the 70s. Even like those old Kiss songs and just everything from like 72 to 78, just fucking all the mainstream shit is just fucking great.
Yeah, it's good. It's straight. It's like very straightforward. There's really nothing too crazy. Yeah. But then you get into Van Halen coming out and who was at the same? There was another like big band like the Pixies. The Pixies are a mid 80s band. They started in like 82 or 83.
For some reason I always think of them as like early 90s.
Yeah. Their first album released in like 85.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So they're in air quotes 80s band.
That's crazy.
It's crazy to
Same
think.
thing with Nine Inch Nails too. He came out with a Pretty Hate Machine in 89.
Yeah, I'd say that's a 90s.
Trent Reznor is like a 90s artist.
Yeah, because he was very, very prevalent in that time. But that's also, I mean, when you look at it, all those bands that started in the 70s that are still releasing music, because Kiss they're big, they play every once in a while.
Yeah.
But they're not to the point where these 90s bands that are just coming back and releasing music are still at that same level of like fanhood.
Yeah.
You know, where people from that were listening to Tool back in the day are like ravenous over this new album and fighting people that are saying it's not good.
And there's also
or something like that.
way more, especially with Tool, there's something way more transcendent about their music where it's like, it's not just music. It's like you can have I've had spiritual, like extremely spiritual moments in my life whilst listening to Lateralis, and it's just fucking, and there's just something more with Tool. It's not just music with certain songs. It's like it makes you, it really cuts to the core of you and makes you feel something and there's really no other band out there that I've ever had that with.
Right. Yeah, it's very different.
So that's the difference between a Kiss and a Tool coming out with an album.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Because this one did, oh my God, such an amazing job. And then, you know, you got Kiss doing whatever they're doing at the time.
Just real quickly, going back to the Tool, there was a couple things that I wanted to, not criticize, but see how you felt about them. I wasn't crazy about any of the interludes.
Yeah, I wasn't either. I think there's one that was really cool. It's I like the name Chocolate Chip Trip.
Yeah,
that's my favorite.
Oh my God,
just
I heard
because the name.
It's fucking like a bad acid trip.
Yes,
it's like taking way too much acid. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah,
if you ever want to know what it's like to take way too much acid, listen to that fucking song.
But I think it's Descending. There's like a really cool one.
Descending is dope.
Yeah, that's guitar and drums and like tabla mixed in there too.
Yeah,
and it's amazing. It's such an interesting mix between the two. But the first one, Litany contre la Pure or whatever it is, that one was very weird. Where it's just odd. Like just different guitar tones. Yeah, it was very strange.
I think to me, Lateralis had probably the best interludes of all Tool records. Like they had that, you know, the first song is The Grudge,
right?
And it has that really, after that, the second song, I think it's called Eon Blue Apocalypse. It's just like a really nice minute-long guitar thing, which is fucking awesome.
Yeah, I think on 10,000 Days is probably my favorite one.
Yeah, those are some great interludes on that one as well. Yeah.
Which, oh man, what's that?
That's good all the way through.
Yes, that album is amazing. There's the one right before Lipin Conjuring. That's it. The one where it's the Indian chanting.
Yeah,
that one's my favorite. It's so good. That's like its own track. If they played that on the radio, that would be insane. I'd be going crazy. Yeah. Which actually leads me back to another really cool like comeback album, even though it was only like 2 years, was Aerosmith.
Oh, okay, they did one too?
Yeah, because they released an album called Perfect Summer Vacation or something like that, which was pretty big. And then like Joe Perry had left right before that, and some of the other band members had left, and so it was like Steven Tyler and the drummer and maybe the bass player and 2 other guitar players that were okay, and then everybody came back for Pump, which is like their big album that brought them back.
Was that in the 90s, late 90s?
That was in 1989.
Oh shit, really?
It was 86 was Perfect Summer Vacation, and then 89 was Pump.
Then that's when they had the the fucking one with Walk This Way with Run DMC.
Yeah, and that's what brought them back. Was Run DMC was like, we want to sample this, but we want you on the song too, because we think it would be cool. And then that brought them back, and they were like, all right, let's do this one more time. And then they pushed out probably the best album, I think, in their entire discography, because it's got so many hits on it. When you think about it, it's got Janie's Got a Gun.
Yeah, you're right, dude. They do have a lot of fucking hit songs, dude. It's insane.
Yeah,
their
Janie's
body of
Got
work.
a Gun. What's the other one? Fuck. I mean, just every single one of them is really good.
Yeah, they've got a lot of hits from all theirs, and then they came back with that shit for that movie Armageddon with Ben Affleck back in the 90s.
Yeah, actually, one of the songs.
I hate to say it, I like that fucking song, dude. I don't care what anybody says. I think it's a great song.
Oh, what is that?
It's like a ballad. Don't wanna miss
that's
it.
Yeah, that's so good.
Anybody that says that they don't like that song at least a little bit is a goddamn liar.
Yeah, Young Lust, Fine, Going Down, Loving an Elevator, Monkey on My Back.
Loving an Elevator's dope.
Yeah, that's probably the best one. My Girl, Don't Get Mad, Get Even. What It Takes. That one's pretty good, but that's just an instrumental song. But I've heard Dulcimer Stomp or The Other Side on the radio. That was like surprising to hear that because it's just it starts with like this weird country style like dulcimer song, and then it gets into like the It's so good.
I love hearing you sing that.
Yeah. Oh my god, it's so good. But yeah, so I mean, final thoughts on this new Fear Inoculum album.
My god, dude,
what do you think? Favorite song? What would with one listen, what would you rate it right now out of 10?
Shit, dude.
Or out of 10,000, because 10,000 days.
Out of 10,000? Oh, shit. I would give it 8,000 right now.
8,000?
I would give it 8,000.
Okay.
How about you?
Yeah, I give it 8,527. I don't know.
0.6.
Yeah, I give it an 8,500 out of 10,000.
0.69.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Or whatever the pi number would be that fits in there.
Yeah.
In the Fibonacci sequence.
Yes.
I think it's really good.
Yeah,
I think
good,
it definitely needs.
We're gonna have to do another fucking podcast once we've actually like listened to it a little bit more.
Yeah.
Can fucking bore the people a little bit more with some some more dense information.
Yeah.
About it.
Because this is the first album that they've also released lyrics, like a lyric sheet for.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is that so?
I think so. I think in the there's like a limited edition CD that you can get that has a screen in it that plays a video that's really fucking cool.
Shit, that's tight.
But there's a lyric sheet in there too, or like a lyric pamphlet that has all the lyrics for the songs.
Yeah, something tells me that I'm gonna want to at some point dive into that and actually read the lyrics and try to absorb.
It's the first time they've ever done it before.
Yeah,
which is crazy because
I want to see that shit. I want to see it.
Yeah, but it's so cool. So it's if you haven't listened to it, go and listen to it. It's pretty good. I mean, it's basically a movie. If you try and sit down and listen to an hour and a half long album, it's going to be difficult. Yeah. But if you kind of break it up every couple songs, it's a good way to do it.
That's the move on this record.
Yeah.
I think at some point I'll probably do it once all the way through. Yeah. But that's
a long time. That's a movie.
Yeah. Exactly. Because I've done that with all their other albums, so I think it would be only natural to do this. It's only fair.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's it. So thank you for listening to this episode of Working Title Podcast, where we talked about Fear Inoculum and some other comeback albums, if you want to call them that. Go listen to Fear Inoculum by Tool, and go listen to King Animal by Soundgarden, Josh, because it's amazing. It's
King
really
Animal.
Good. Yeah. All right. Thank you for listening.
Thanks, guys.